Okay, so good evening, everyone. We're going to give people a couple of minutes to get on board, um, and then we're going to move on. So tonight we're back to talking about the 13 reasons to get your spine checked on a regular basis, and we were talking about how chiropractic, it's really about your life, your health, and your wellness. What I like to do tonight is I want to go through because I want to go through and start sharing with you some of the benefits of being under chiropractic care. And we are now, you know, going on, over a little 2 years since we've all been involved with this COVID crisis. So, I know a lot of people over the past couple of years who have really gone through some rough times. I think a lot of it has more to do with stress than anything else. Mainly because of being locked down and not able to get out and do things. Not even, also not even realizing what life is really going to be about in terms of what, I was talking to someone last week, and they were just sharing with me how people who've been applied for unemployment, but to this date haven't gotten their unemployment. So can you imagine the amount of stress or the kind of stress that they're going through, where here you are, a person who worked, had a family, got children, and you were, shut down, couldn't go to work, and then when you did apply for the unemployment, 2 years later, you still didn't get your unemployment. Okay, so that's a very stressful thing, and can you imagine the amount of stress that plays on your health and well-being? All right, and so I personally am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I was introduced to chiropractic at the age of 19, and I would tell you that I wished I had known about it earlier, but I didn't. So here we are. Here I am, 69 right now. Started under chiropractic care myself at 19. And I literally have been getting adjusted consistently once a week, okay? Sometimes more. I mean, there were situations when I had, auto accident and had to see my chiropractor more often, obviously because of injuries there. But just think about this for a minute. Just think about that the vital energy that runs your body, right? It comes from the brain, travels over the nerves, the spinal cord and nerves, and gives vitality and vigor to all parts of your body. I mean, just think of that for a moment. And if we understand that, then logic would tell us, at least to me, that energy is interfered with, then your body will not work to its fullest potential. Okay? So how would your body not be able to work to its fullest potential? Well, the major reason why it wouldn't it would be because of the fact that if we have an accumulation of prolonged stressors, that will impact your physical body, which in turn is going to put stress into your brain, nerve system, and then throughout the entire body. That would literally cause your body not to perform at its highest potential. Now, I have a lot of people that come to me, and unfortunately, myself, along with many other chiropractors, have people come and they utilize chiropractic like they do a pain pill, right? We've all been indoctrinated by way of looking at TV, magazines, newspapers, whatever, that if you have a certain type or different types of pain, that the solution to that problem is to take some chemical to create some chemical reaction in your body, and that when that chemical reaction causes your body to feel better, then the assumption is that you're healthy. And we know that is not the truth, because we know also, and again, I'm saying this to you, I want you to understand that I'm not telling any one of you out there that medication is bad. I'm not telling you that. What I am saying is this, is that it's important for each and every one of us to learn, to understand, and really get to the root cause of the problem. Okay? And once we get to the root cause of the problem, then we can begin to look at the central aspect of the human body that controls it. And for me, from what I've learned over the years, that your brain and nerve system is the master control system of the human body. We know that it controls, conducts, coordinates every single activity in the human body. And then that system happens to be protected by the cranium and 24 movable bones in the spine called vertebrae. And between each of those vertebrae, we have what we call a disc. A little demonstration here. And those discs, those vertebrae have an opening in the back portion of it that serves as a canal for the spinal cord to sit through. And then on the side of each vertebra, we have an opening called the foramen, where the intervertebral foramen, where the nerve comes out. And as you see on the chart behind me, it sends signals to every organ, every cell, and every tissue in the human body. So, if we understand that, and I really want you to get this, especially those of you out there who are parents, you have children who play sports, children who may have bronchitis, maybe all kinds of health issues that are going on. What I'm saying to you, that your body's going to function better when your nerve system energy is not interfered with. And if it is interfered with, then the best solution to that, in my opinion, is going to a chiropractor, finding out where in your spinal system you have what we call misalignments, or another term that chiropractors we use is subluxation. That's when one or more of these vertebrae shifts out of its alignment, puts pressure on a nerve, and causes a malfunction to occur. I learned that at 19. I didn't know about that early on. As I mentioned to you before, some of you know my stories that I grew up with really severe allergies and asthma, and was taking all kinds of medications, steroids, and all of that. And it wasn't until I went to my chiropractor, who taught me about how the body works, and then started getting adjusted. Then 6 months later, allergies are gone, changed my diet, no more asthma. So, and then as a result of that, that inspired me to go to school. Actually, I had graduated from college, and then I went back to college to get my pre-med sciences, and then enrolled to Life Chiropractic College, which is now Life University in Marietta, Georgia, to get my license to practice as a chiropractor. Okay, so my question to you today, one of them would be, would you like to have clearer thinking, clearer concentration, clearer memory? Hey, I know I do. We all do. And I think that, just think about it. If you've had a day where your mind was extra sharp, thoughts and ideas came to you very quickly. I've had those days. You got up in the morning, you maybe meditated, did your prayer, did your exercise, and you just felt sharp. Your memory was really, really good. But on the other side of that is, how many of you had days where your memory was really bad, you didn't feel well, you just, maybe mind was all over the place. And so what we have to understand about that, taking it to the next level, is that, remember, body chemistry impacts how your body functions. So we know that your nervous system, right, has an impact on body chemistry. But in order for your body to produce the right amount of chemistry, right? For example, I'll give you a good example. If you think about your pancreas, you eat something sweet, potato chip, whatever it is. Potato chips is a carbohydrate. It's going to cause your pancreas to produce insulin. Now, if there's some interference with your nervous system that's supplying impulse to your pancreas, it's very likely that your body will not produce the correct amount of chemistry in order to have that organ function the way that it was designed and programmed to function. Okay? So it's important, again, from another aspect, it's important to understand that body chemistry is controlled by your nerve system, and your nerve system works better without, again, any type of interference. So you can see, Many times when people come, as I said before, they come for pain. And if they don't understand the purpose and the reason why the pain is there, then obviously you're going to be more susceptible, more prone to be open to getting involved with and taking a lot of medication that may wind up creating a lot of other health issues that you don't want to deal with. All right? So, how about thinking about getting adjusted on a regular basis, and as a result of getting adjusted on a regular basis, you have less stress? How many people would love that? If you're out there, if you want to put some comments into the chat box, or if you have comments, questions, whatever, please put them in there, because we really would appreciate that also. So, as I said, getting adjusted can make your job easier. And for example, if you have kids, getting them adjusted. I know for me, my children have been under chiropractic care since they were infants, and I would have to say that overall, their thinking is a lot different. They take really good care of their body. Okay, they're in the gym, they're exercising, they're making sure that they now get adjusted on a regular basis, right? Making sure they get here, or when I'm at home, I have an adjusting table there, they get adjusted, to make sure my wife gets adjusted, and we want to make sure that they get adjusted on a weekly basis, okay? Now, they're adults now, so they have to make that, make that schedule so that they make sure that they're getting adjusted on a regular basis, because we can't allow, nor would they want to allow their bodies to continue to go and get subluxated to the point where they can't function that well, okay? So it becomes important understanding the difference between adversity and also stress. Okay, we all encounter, when we think about adversities that we all encounter in life, and you can't change that. Stress also, when we think about it, is the inability to handle the adversities. So how well can your body handle those things? Okay, becomes a very important thing. And what I know is this for a fact, that when I'm getting and have been getting adjusted for all these years, I have a tendency to be able to deal with adversities much better. Okay. Now, there are other things that I do. I meditate a lot. I mean, when I say a lot, I meditate every day. And I know that by calming my mind, getting my frequencies down to alpha at some point, that I'm able to really have my body relax better, which in turn is going to cause my nerve system to function better. But most importantly is this, making sure that I get my spine checked and adjusted on a regular weekly basis, okay? So, just think that when we think about the body, everybody, many people that I talk to most of them are interested in living a much longer life. And, we all want to live a longer life, I would think. But more importantly than that is to have a higher quality life for a longer period of time. I think that's the key. And that would be the goal. One of the things I have in my office, in my adjustatorium, and in my area that I adjust my patients, on the wall I have a big sign that says "Living the 100-Year Lifestyle," and that sign there is as much for my patients as it is for me, because every time I go out and I'm adjusting, I see it. It goes into my subconscious mind, and I become more mindful of making sure that I'm doing the things that's going to allow me to live a longer life. And I don't know if I will or not, but what I'm saying is, if I plant the seed, okay, and by seeing that sign every day, it will be a constant reminder, right? A constant reminder for me to make sure that I think first about doing those things that is going to be leading me in the direction of having a much longer and also at the same time a better quality of life. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that I'm going to have to make sure that I get proper sleep. I have to make sure that I exercise. So one of the things that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks, I've been going to the gym, but I've been changing up where I've been spending more time in my sauna. than I usually have. I mean, I get in there usually 5, 6 days a week, and I'm in there for like 40, 45 minutes, and helping my body to detox. And so one of my goals is, and I think it's important for all of us to have health goals. So one of my goals is I really want to get my weight down to about 175, 180 pounds. I weighed in this morning at 196, so that means I got at least good 20, 21 pounds to knock off within the next, I have a seminar that I'm going to on October the 13th, and I want to be down by that time. So I got to really work at it, be committed to making sure I'm eating right, exercising, and doing all those things. Next thing is this. So we talked about we want to have more energy. Chiropractic will help us do that. Number 2, have clear thinking, concentration, and memory. Have less stress in our lives. Again, we're all going to encounter stress, but it's how we handle. How does your body's ability to adapt to the stresses that it's encountering on a day-to-day basis. And then longer life, and in that is the quality, having better quality of life. And also what's important, the next one, number 5, is sleep, more sleep, okay? And we know that all sleep is not the same, because I've talked to people who sleep, during the night, broken sleep. I just had someone I spoke to today, they say maybe sleep 4 hours a night. And I don't know, for me, I think that I need, in my opinion, to have a good, solid 7 to 8 hours sleep each night. I think it's important. I mean, that's what I want to get, and that's what I, frame my mind to make sure that I get that every night, because I think I know that the body requires rest in order for it to go through restoration and repair and regeneration. Okay? You don't want to be in a situation where you're sleeping 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, but it's all restless while you're sleeping, moving all the time, getting up. So we don't want that. So we want to be able to get to a point where we have a deep sleep, so that when we get up in the morning, your body feels rested, okay? So what does that say? It means how well your body is working will determine how much of your sleep is real sleep and not just downtime. That's the thing. It's just not downtime, but it's really deep quality sleep, because remember, that deep sleep is what's going to really bring about healing. Healing in your life, okay? The other thing is by, going to and getting checked with your chiropractor on a regular weekly basis. And in my practice, many of my patients who come in for the first time, depending on the severity of their subluxations and how long they've had their particular condition, will determine how they will start out with their care plan, okay? I know for me, when I first started with my chiropractor, I was going to him 3 days a week. And I can tell you, I can just clockwork tell you how over the period of time my body started getting better, functioning better, sleeping better, thinking better. And I know for myself now, when I get adjusted, I don't go to get adjusted because of pain. I go there because I realize the value of keeping my spine properly aligned, because it allows my entire system to function better. I just believe that people who get adjusted on a regular basis have better quality relationships. Mind's free of interference, free of the stressors. So one of the things that we know is this for sure, that people who are under chiropractic care will receive greater value from their exercise programs. As a matter of fact, you can do this on your own. Don't believe what I'm saying, but I would bet that there's a really high percent of world-class athletes. I know this for a fact, but I'm just saying, you could check, are under chiropractic care. And I would tell you that the majority of them that are under chiropractic care do it because people who are adjusted tend to have better performance. Now, if you are an athlete, okay, entertainer, you're going to perform better. I remember years ago, I would be called to go to the casinos to take care of some of their superstar bands that would come in town. I remember Cher came to town. There was Gloria Estefan, Natalie Cole, and I would go backstage, and they would have it built into their contract that they would want a chiropractor backstage. And so one of the questions I posed to some of the band members was, why do they want to get adjusted before they go on to perform? And what they said is that when they get adjusted, when they go out to perform, they perform better because it frees up their nervous system. So that was cool for me, because I always thought that, but it's so great to hear that from someone else who's in the professional industry of entertainment that would say that. Okay, I know that there are great athletes out there that are all under chiropractic care. So we all need to regularly, exercise regularly. Some of us don't have the energy to get up to do it. Okay, but we have to do something. We have to get up. We have to move, especially as we get older. So one of the things, if you're a patient here, one of the things you're going to hear me say, as you get older, you got to work out harder, more, but you're going to do it intelligently. You're just not going to go out there and just slam your body, but you're going to do things really in a smart way to make sure that you have better quality of health. Because as we age, obviously you all know that gravity is constantly pulling us down. If we don't do the things that's going to keep us upright, keep their muscle system strong, bone system strong by doing weight-bearing exercises, then we're going to run into some problems. Okay, so if you don't work out, your body's just not going to work the way that it should. And so therefore, working out, getting adjusted is going to make a huge difference in how your body will perform. And we all want our bodies to be able to perform at a greater level, especially as we get older. All right. So one of the things that, my mom, I love her, she just turned 88. Okay. And she's so funny because sometimes she'll say, "Oh, who wants to get old?" And I jokingly say to her, "Well, you got two options: get old or be dead. Which one you want?" Okay. So obviously we know we want to be alive. But one thing I've always, and she used to do this a lot, my mother started coming to me, getting adjusted, her and my pop. I guess after a year or two I was in practice, and they would come down and they would get adjusted, and they were still coming until recently, where she no longer has transportation. So every once in a while my sister will bring them both down here to get adjusted to my office. But one of the things that she used to do, and we always encourage, all of my brothers and sisters, we encourage her to get out and exercise. Her and my pop both get out and walk, just do something to keep their bodies strong and vibrant, getting oxygen into their system. So that becomes very important. So just understand that what happens when there is interference in your nervous system due to vertebral subluxation, your body's not going to be able to function well. And if you do have subluxation, which most of us do, then it's important that we get in to see a chiropractor, get checked, and then get adjusted on a regular basis. Okay? When we get adjusted on a regular basis, one of the other benefits that comes from that is that you're going to have more balanced body chemistry. And who doesn't want that? Think about it. If your chemical systems in your body, whether it be your hormones, your thyroid gland, your pituitary gland, your adrenal glands, your gastric juices in your stomach, you want all of those things working in such a way that it's like clockwork. Okay? But if your spine is out of alignment, then that's not going to be able to happen to the level that we want it to function. All right? So proper balance of your body's chemistry is unique to you, and it's only the innate wisdom of your body that can detect and knows exactly how that should be for you, right? So it's kind of like, you guys know this out there. People come and they're on high blood pressure, medication to bring their pressure down, medication to bring the pressure up. If you're taking water pills, you're taking something so you can get water out of your system. And I would venture to say that those medications don't have the intelligence to know exactly what the heck they're supposed to be doing. And so my theory has always been, this is just my thought, that if I had high blood pressure, or if I had any kind of health problem that warranted that I would have to take some medication, then what I would want to know is, and I would want the medical doctor to explain to me, what can I do on a regular, consistent basis once I found out what caused this? how can I change my lifestyle, whether it be with diet, exercise, thinking, or whatever, that I could literally, over a course of 3, 6, 12 months, to change my body chemistry to a point where I would be, instead of having my medication levels go up, that they would literally start to go down and eventually come off of them. But we know we live in an environment today that most people, once they get on some type of medication, they're going to be on it for the rest of their lives, and to the point where many times they're going to be experiencing side effects, and then they're going to have to take medications for those side effects. So to me, I think it becomes important to really understand about how we can help the body to produce just the right chemicals in just the right amounts at just the right time, and so that your nervous system is critical in coordination of all of these functions. And it's important that we understand that. Now, granted, not every person out there, not every patient is going to do their homework and go and study this stuff. But my thinking is that, hey, if you're around this long enough today, we certainly can. We have the the computer where you can go on and type in questions about anything, and most of the stuff you get, you're going to be able to learn something. So my thing has always been to really educate my patients about how their bodies work, teaching them about what things to eat, making water their beverage of choice, getting proper rest, having a positive mental attitude, all of those things. Okay, so number 8. So let's go back real quickly. We talked about number 1. Why do we go to get checked on a regular basis? One would be that it would help you increase and have more energy. Number 2, that we have clearer thinking and concentration and memory. Number 3, we have less stress in our lives. We want to de-stress, and especially if you lived on this planet over the last 2 years, trust me, you've encountered some stress that you've never encountered in your life before. So for that reason alone, I firmly believe that every person out there on the planet needs to be under chiropractic care. I really do. Okay, and I know that's a big, bold statement, but that's just what I believe. Number 4 is that getting checked on a regular basis by keeping your body properly aligned, your spinal system properly aligned. It's going to allow your body to function better, which means you're going to have a better quality of life and you're going to have a longer life. So look, we know that about our cars, right? We know that if we maintain our cars on a regular, consistent basis, right? You know that car is going to run longer, it's going to run better, okay? And it's going to be a much better quality machine if we take care of it. And I'm telling you, your body will do the same thing. You take care of your body, it will take care of you, okay? And number 5, increasing the quality of your sleep. Number 6, having and getting greater value from your exercise programs. And then number 7, having more balanced body chemistry. And that's so important to me. And I hope and pray to God that it's important to you. So now, number 8, having more hours in your day. Well, how do you get more hours in your day? And my thinking is that we all know there's only 24 hours in a day, but my thinking is that when you have better quality of health, okay, then you're able to maximize or manage your time more efficiently, right? And therefore, you're going to get more out of the day than the average person. Just think, if you're a person who doesn't have good health, you could be spending a lot of your time, just moping and just engaged in your ill health. But if you had great health, okay, and you will see that most people who are in bad health, they'll talk about how long the day is, and those who have, really good quality of health and life, right? Things seem to be move along smoother throughout the day than when you're in bad health. So just keep in mind that if your mind and body are working as well as they possibly can, you will be more efficient and more than make up for the time it takes to visit your chiropractor, right? Okay, so by having good quality of health, you're going to be able to fit in all those things that you need to fit in on a regular daily basis, and not walk around saying, oh God, where's the time gone? Really hasn't gone anywhere. Everybody has 24 hours in a day to do what they have to do, okay? But when we're in great health, and so it's important to understand also that in order to have great health, right, and especially when you're under chiropractic care, you have to make it an intentional thing to do. It's not something that's going to happen just out of the blue. You have to plan it out to make sure that you have good quality health, okay? And so going to a chiropractor takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. One of the things that we're working on constantly here is doing a great job of educating our patients to the point where they understand. I have patients who've been coming to me now for 30 some years, and when they walk in the door, the first thing they'll say is, oh, I knew, my body told me that I needed to get my adjustment. And that's how we want you to be, so well educated, so in tune with your body, right? That you'll know your body has such an awareness that it can really sense when it's out of alignment and that it needs to get in to get adjusted on a regular basis, okay? And that's what we like to do for all of our patients. So we have a lot of patients sometimes who may, come in for a health condition and unfortunately not understand the total aspect of why it's important to get under chiropractic care and, go through the regimen of care in the beginning. Could be 2 to 3 days a week, and then, could be twice a week, and then once a week, and then twice a month. But there's a purpose behind it to get the body acclimated, and as it adapts to the spinal adjustment and alignment, the body starts to function better. But and we have those who come, and when they're and we tell patients we go through a process of phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. That in order to get through to phase 4, we got to go through these steps. But if that person stops prematurely, they're never going to get the benefit. Just like the person who has a serious health problem, and they go and constantly medicating that problem, and at the same time don't find out why or what's causing that problem, they're going to wind up having some serious problems down the road. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up now, and what we're going to do, we're going to come back in 2 weeks, and then we're going to wrap up with the last 5 different benefits of chiropractic and why, when we talk about the 13 reasons to get your spine checked on a regular basis. So I want to leave you with this. Those of you out there who are interested in coming in for a chiropractic checkup, just give us a call at 609-383-9121. Those of you who are seeing this and maybe have been patients here but have stopped, strongly recommend that you give us a call to get back on track. You know that if this chiropractic has been valuable for you in terms of helping you function, feel better, think better, call the office and just get in here. And as I said before, those of you who have comments, please make your comments, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks. And we hope and pray to God that you have a really blessed evening. I'm taking off tomorrow night. I will be in my office tomorrow from 9 to 1, 3 to 6, and then I have to leave, get to Philadelphia, and I'll be going down to Atlanta to my chiropractic college, where I'll be taking my continuing education credits for on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I will be back here on Monday, God's will, ready, excited to serve you and our community. Okay? So have a blessed evening, and we look forward to being here with you again in 2 weeks. Good night.